Communication is the most essential form of expression to allow us to express how we feel, what we think, and to express our truth, and to uplift people, to make people laugh, and to have life changing conversations, to get to know people, to become more open minded, to learn more about different cultures. But a lot of us have this internalized fear of speaking up, of speaking out, and thinking that if we speak up and say something, people are going to attack us or are going to view us differently for our point of view. And there are those that are just natural communicators. They get their point across, they captivate people, and you think you can't be like them because they were just born with this gift. But I think we all have this gift of communicating, maybe some more than others, I'm not sure. But if you really want to be a great communicator, you have to improve on how you view yourself and stand up for what you believe. In my journey, this is what I'm going through. I'm learning, I am trying to express myself in a way that will be relatable to everybody, not just me, and bore you to death. Just tell you this beautiful story that everything went great, that it's easy to communicate, because it's not, it's hard. This is the reason I think a lot of people have this fear of communicating on what they stand for or believe in. One, they're afraid about what people will say, about what people will think, and if people will attack them. The second one is maybe you went through something traumatic when you were a child, which led you to not speak about it or not want to talk about your situation, what you went through, or you're more reserved and think that you are not worthy of being heard. So, where do you fit in and where do I fit in? What do you think that happened to me that led me to not talk and not say a word? Okay, I'm just kidding, not say a word, but become more shy, more reserved. It was the second one. I thought I wasn't worthy enough to speak up, to talk, to say anything. Obviously, when you're a kid, you just talk and say everything that's on your mind, but sometimes you reach this point where you kind of shut down, and that's what happened to me. I shut down when I learned that I was different and everyone viewed me in a different way and labeled me as different or viewed me as a blind girl. I was like, well, this is who I am, and this is no matter what I say, everyone's just gonna view me the same way. No one's gonna have another different opinion of me because I obviously have a name. I know who I am, and nobody else apparently cares. So that's what happened through many, many, many years. And it internalized this fear of speaking or fear of just saying what I felt. Did I realize it back then? No, but now I do realize it. And I think that life has lessons to teach you, and if you realize what is holding you back from speaking up, from telling your truth, from asking for help, from being in a difficult situation, and you figure it out, I feel like you can really set yourself free from it all. And it took me forever to realize this, and when I did, it helped me a lot. So there's two ways it could go. It could go the easy way where you realize that you should speak up for yourself because it's necessary, or the hard way where you get a kick in the butt to be like, hey, hurry up, speak up, or we're gonna put stuff in front of you and difficult things until you figure this out on your own. And that's what happened to me. So what happened was I got this mean teacher and she seemed like she hated her job, and she was always yelling at me and yelling to the class, telling everyone they were idiots, always giving us detention, and there nobody said a word. Nobody wanted to speak up. Everyone was content getting yelled at every single day. And it's crazy because even a sigh out of me, she would get all crazy and mad and be like, young lady, come back here. And why are you sighing? And why are you upset? Young lady, why didn't you take out the paper from the printer and throw it away because it's a mess. And all you can hear is my voice being like, I already did. I already took it out. But it wasn't like, oh, you know what, lady, I already did it. I already took out the paper. I was never that type of person to be yelling at the teacher, telling her off in that way. But the turning point was when I realized I was about to flunk that grade and repeat the sixth grade all over again. And I was like, I am not going to repeat this grade. So I have to do something about this. So I told my dad, and there was going to be this big meeting, and we talked with the principal, and there was like crazy words going back and forth. The principal was mad, and he was like, oh my gosh, he didn't believe what I was saying, that the teacher was racist, that the teacher was mean. And then later on, we had more meetings that involved a lot of arguing, a lot of crying. There was always a box of tissues. It was so difficult. And guess who didn't show up? Yeah, the teacher never showed her face in any of the meetings. Apparently, she didn't have to because it was summer and she wasn't getting paid for that. So they said, oh, she doesn't have to come. But since my experience was very intense in the eyes of everyone, the teachers and myself, they all decided, you know what, let's put her in summer school, see how she does, and if she does well, and if it was all because of the pressure of the teacher that she didn't get any good grades, we will pass her. And that is exactly what happened. I went to summer school, I passed, and during junior high, none of that ever happened again. I never had a problem with any of the teachers. And now that I think about it, I like say, wow, thanks a lot to the teacher that gave me that push to speak up, because if she didn't, I swear, when you're in junior high and you don't defend yourself and you don't talk, these girls that are going through their little insecure phase are going to eat you up, because everyone is going through a big change in junior high. If you don't do anything about it, people are going to push you around. At that point in time, girls were just thinking that they were prettier, that they had the better shoes, they had the better clothes, they had the better nails. They just loved to gossip. They would make rumors like you're going out with this guy, but this guy, I wasn't going out with no guy, and it was my friend. And I told her, I was like, you know what, I'm not going out with anybody. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Or people will be like, oh, my shoes are better than yours. And I'll be like, oh, well, that's your opinion. If you think that, then that's fine. Or my nails are real and yours are fake. Like, people would say things that they don't even know me and they don't even know my story, and they're just commenting on these kind of things. That was a point in time when I was trying to not lose myself. When you're in junior high, you're losing yourself, you don't know who you are yet. I didn't want to lose that part of me that knew who I was. And I didn't want to be like everybody else and talk like everybody else. On all, do I still struggle asking for help? Yes, sometimes. Why? Because my pride gets in the way and I want to do it all myself. But sometimes I do give up and I'll be like, okay, I need help. Another thing that we all maybe have trouble in is in parties, you're always trying to gauge what you should talk about, what you need to say, if people are going to take it well, if people are going to take it bad. But you'll never know until you say something. Three things could happen out of that conversation. One, people feel inspired or resonate with what you're saying and continue the conversation. Two, they will act defensive or get triggered about what you said. You can argue with them or you can just move on and ignore them. Or three, the person will be neutral and just let you talk and they're not going to say anything until you're done. Might as well put it out there. I know times in parties or in certain situations I've said stuff that I didn't even think was mean. I didn't even think that I would hurt someone. I was just being funny. I was just being myself. But I guess people do take words out of context. If people had more of a communication with each other, they would be like, hey, I don't appreciate what you just said. or what, you triggered me, can you not? We're all just trying to figure things out at our own pace. And no matter what you do, you can't please everybody. No matter what you say, no matter how you deliver your message, whether it's in words, writing, anything online, people are always going to have their own point of view. They're not going to understand what you said. They're only going to digest or take out what they want to take out. And they could either turn it against you or agree with you, and you can't do anything about it. All you can do is share the message and get it across and see what happens. And if it went great, then great. If it didn't, and people didn't accept what you said, at least you tried. And I see all these people now coming out and sharing their experiences, even though they were difficult, even though they overcame things, they are all putting it out there and seeing what other people may say or think, or even if it will help them. Back then, people wouldn't share those type of experiences, and I think that that's great that people are finally saying, you know what, that's enough, and finally are trying to speak up for themselves. Because if you continue to stay in that fear and not get out and just worry about how people may take it, then you're going to be stuck and you're not going to be able to get your message across, and you're always going to resent that you never spoke up, spoke out, and got to really know who you really are and in which way you express yourself the best. Is it easy? Of course not. It's hard. Everyone has to learn somehow. All the amazing public speakers, motivational speakers took time to develop that skill. And if you want to develop that skill, it takes practice. So never be afraid to share your experience. Because if you keep your experience to yourself, how will people know what happened to you? How will people be able to help you if they don't know what you're going through? That experience could have damaged you physically, mentally, and spiritually. But after all that pain, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is something better if you're just able to get there. And some people will say, no, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. You're lying. I'm still going through traumatic things that happened to me, and that's why I don't want to talk. That's why I'm quiet. That's why I'm shy. That's why I'm reserved. Oh, okay then. If that's what you believe, then it's fine. But if you really try hard to get out of that situation and if you ask for help, then it will be easier to get out of that situation. And if you use your voice to express yourself in whatever form you like, then you will be able to get rid of all that baggage within you. I think ever since I made videos, I've been able to express myself in a better way, because before I was like, I don't know how to express myself. I don't know how to get my words out right. I don't know how people will see it. Once I look through my all my experiences and put a lesson behind them, and I'm pretty sure there's other people going through what I'm going through, and if it resonates, people will continue watching, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. You just have to figure out your own self worth. Are you worthy enough? Of course you are. Everybody is. Everybody has a voice. Everyone can share whatever they want. The only time I think that you should be cautious about certain things is if you're gonna hurt someone else. That's the only time you should be careful about sharing. But other than that, if it's gonna help everybody else, why not share what you gotta say? Don't ever second guess. Don't ever say what if. Don't ever think about how will people see it or take it. Just say it, because if you think about it, you're gonna filter it out. You're gonna be scared. You're not gonna say anything. And once you realize that if you don't think about it as much and you just let the words flow out, the words are going to flow out easily, effortlessly, and you're going to be able to talk in a fluid way without pausing, without thinking about the outcome, because that's the best conversation. If you're ever afraid or have fears about speaking up, don't run away and keep quiet. Get out there. Get out there and say what you need to say. Instead, run towards that fear and conquer it. It's like getting on a roller coaster. You're afraid to get on that roller coaster, but then everyone's getting on the roller coaster. Eventually you get on it and you're like, "Oh my god, it was the best thing ever." And you keep on loving the thrill and just getting on all over again. And that was the scariest thing ever. And then when you get off, you're like, "Oh my god, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of what I've conquered or what I've done." And everyone's like, and now you're like, oh, it's no big deal. Same with speaking. It's not going to be a big deal once you practice speaking up for yourself and others. But it's not easy. Like I said, it takes time and practice. I'm practicing with YouTube. I'm practicing with other courses. I'm practicing on communicating because it is something I want to improve. It is something I love, and I love sharing my messages and getting my point across. I hope I got my point across in a very understandable way, in a very non boring way. And if I did, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.